everyone, welcome to Bookswagon. We have Miss Shunali Khullar Shroff with us today. Shunali Khullar Shroff is a writer and creative voice who brings sensitivity, observation, and depth into her work. Through her writing, she explores human emotions, relationships, and the quieter truths of everyday life, inviting readers to pause and reflect. Let's go on air with Bookswagon, where stories meets voices. Ma'am, we are so glad to have you here. Please tell us about your journey, how you became an author, and what inspired you to go down this path.
I think to be an author, you have to be a reader first. And I grew up reading. That was my only other source of amusement, and I took to it wholeheartedly. So I grew up at a time where there were fewer distractions, and we read libraries after libraries, and I always aspired to be like the writers that I read. So my journey started early. My summer vacations were spent by my mother giving me writing exercises. Today kids travel so much, but we didn't travel as much. I just sit and do writing essays. And and so then I worked with the newspaper, I worked in the public, I worked with another publication for a few years. Then I took a break, I kept a blog, then I wrote my first book, then my second book, and this is my third book. It's a novel.
Okay. So, a lot of your writing talks about emotional awareness. What do you think your inspiration comes from? Experiences or imagination?
I think it's a bit of both because if you're just writing from your experiences, then it'll even all your fiction will be like non-fiction. I think most of it comes from observing and realizing that all human beings essentially are the same, whether they're in a world of privilege or they live in a small town. Deep down, we all want the same things. We want to be liked. We want a human connection. We want a comfortable life. We want to be loved. We want to do well in our jobs. So I think it just comes, a lot of it comes from observation. This particular book is about a woman whose life unravels after a divorce and how she sort of rises from the rubble of her life. I've observed a lot of divorces around me and what happens to single people in their 40s. So that's why it's
Well, they say a writer's work is often a reflection of their personal life. So, do you think that any part of this book is inspired from your personal life?
I think the sense of humor, I write with a sense of humor because I tackle my own life, I tackle challenges with humor. And I also live between black and white as a person. I never think somebody is all bad or all good. And and I think some of it is also called growing older. You get a little wisdom with that. So the thing that I have in common with my character, other than Bombay, she lives in Bombay, and Bombay is a very important part of my novel, is that she has self-awareness and she looks at the worst tragedy in her life with a little bit of humor.
Okay. And what impact do you think it will create on the reader? What emotions do you want the reader to feel when they see your work?
Interestingly, so far the book is just out, but whoever has read it has said that they found it relatable. They found a lot of philosophical truths in this because there are a lot of realization that the writer shares, and they also realize that the things that matter really, we are not aware of that, and we are not confronting the truth about life that approval doesn't matter. My protagonist is living for approval of society. What will people say? What will people think? And the other thing people have enjoyed here is that it's set in a world of PR. And I think the time that we live in today, everything is so manufactured. Images are manufactured. People are all trying to create a different impression of their lives through social media. There's a lot of social media reference here because it's the reality of our life. Um, my protagonist's mother is an environmentalist who lives in Landour. Uh, People have loved her character actually. They love the mother's character. They love the way it's set in a place away from Bombay, which is such a contrast to what Bombay is. So I've sort of created these two worlds with the slow world of Landour, where there's a lot more meaning and human connection, and the slightly false world of Bombay society.
Okay. And is there any character that is your personal favorite that you resonate with?
There's a queer character in the book who is the protagonist's best friend. He's gay. Uh, I really liked his character. I started liking him when I wrote him, and I do love the mother. My protagonist is a very flawed character. I wanted to write a character who you did not love right away, but you grew to understand her. Because we are all flawed in our own ways. So those are the main characters essentially.
And are there any specific topics or themes that you keep finding yourself returning back to?
You know, I'm a contemporary writer. I also have a podcast on popular culture called Not Your Auntie. I realized that I really enjoy cultural commentary. I love talking and writing about what's happening in the universe we live in right now, and observing it from a distance. So that part of the novel, the world I've created where she lives, um, I think people of all age groups will like it. Even though, you know, people who are single in their late 30s or people who are divorced will find it extremely identifiable, because when you go through life as a single woman, it's very different from the life of a married woman. It's very different from the life of people with families. And my character finds herself very lonely and going through social media and seeing all those hashtags, feeling blessed, you know, family vibes or whatever, Sunday, fun day, with the children, and she sees that, she feels a stab of loneliness. I think that people are so busy trying to, you know, make an impression of a perfect life that it's hurting people who don't have that life, and not everyone realizes that this is not real.
Okay. Interesting. So, there's one thing that I wanted to ask. You're one of the very few authors that I've seen who are confident in their humor writing. So, where do you think that idea comes from? That writing in a humor way is more relatable to people.
You know, when you write about a serious subject with a sense of humor, so most of my writing, even my previous novel, Love in the Time of Affluenza, was about a woman looking for her identity in a marriage. She's lost her identity between being a mother and a wife and a daughter-in-law. And so I write about serious subjects with a sense of humor because A, when you make people laugh, they trust you more. So you tell somebody a serious lecture, they're not going to listen, and then you make them laugh, and then they'll be interested. So one is that, and I think that humor cuts close to the bone. Uh, so I use humor as the scalpel to cut close to the bone without frightening the patient. Uh, and it also makes it makes sadness and loss and loneliness and pain more bearable if you see the humor in it. Any human experience, if you distance yourself from it. So I think I cope with life like that myself. I try and find a funny situation in every situation.
Okay, that's very beautiful. So, is there any message that you would like to give to our readers, your fans, anything?
You know, I always get stumped with that question because really, I don't think I'm writing for a message. I'm just telling a story. And but if I really must find a message, then I would say that, uh, especially for women, don't let motherhood or being a wife consume you. Don't let family responsibilities strip you of your identity. It's very important to save bits of yourself for yourself, to invest in yourself, because life can deal you anything. Your marriage may, you know, fall through the cracks. Your children will leave you and move away from home or live their own lives, and your friends will get busy with their own lives. So I think learning to spend time with yourself and cultivating enough interest, having a profession you can lean back on, creating a little life for yourself within this larger life you have with your family. That's really important.
Very well said. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your time. It was lovely talking to you. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Mansa. This was nice. Hi, I'm Shunali Shroff. My book, The Wrong Way Home, is available on bookswagon.com.